Hi everyone, Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. It's my pleasure today to introduce you to Craig Campobasso. How are you doing, Craig?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for asking. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to do a quick bio about you and then we'll get started, okay?
Okay.
So now Craig works at Craig Campobasso Casting. Film and television casting director is your title. And we want to start going from where this all started, how you got here, and where we are today. Okay, Craig?
Absolutely. I started off as an actor when I was 15 and I graduated high school early. And I then all of a sudden found myself working on David Lynch's Dune for 4
Oh,
years.
okay.
And this is the new compilation of those 4 years, which is a book done by Max Every. And David Lynch never gave an interview about Dune since the making of Dune. And Max was the very first person that he gave the interview to. I was there for the full duration, like David, Rafaela De Laurentiis, our producer, Dino De Laurentiis. And so the whole first year, it was just me, David, Rafaela, and a couple of secretaries. And then everyone started coming into Universal and we started making. So I learned all about the filmmaking business while working on Dune. At the same time, Rafaela and Dina were also producing Conan the Destroyer with
Okay.
Arnold. So I worked on that as well. And both those films shot simultaneously at Estudios Churubusco in Mexico City.
Okay.
So it was really quite exciting to learn all about the film business in all areas early on. After that, Rafaela asked me she said, what department did you like? And I said, I think I like casting. And she said, okay. So she put me on her next film, which was called Taipan, as a casting assistant. And then an opportunity came to move over to Steven Spielberg's Amazing Stories. So I moved over there as a casting associate for a year and a half. And then I went back to the De Laurentises and started casting movies for them. So I've been doing it well over 35 years. I've seen the business go through a kabillion zillion changes. But like anyone in the film business, you have to be a chameleon. So I started writing books. I have a book series, which is this book series called The Autobiography of an Extraterrestrial Saga. It's a 4-part book series. Sylvia Brown wrote the foreword to this
Oh
first book.
my, I know Sylvia, but I'm
Yeah,
looking at, can you just, I'm getting a bit of glare. Craig, just pull, yeah, that, thank you so much. I just wanted to get that up there. Excellent.
there
Thank
we
you.
go. Yeah. So
Perfect.
and then I started writing a couple of books for MUFON. This is one of them, the Extraterrestrial Species Almanac. I began studying real face-to-face contactee cases with extraterrestrials back when I was 26.
You are
So,
kidding me.
so
That,
they knew that I had all that information. So these come from real stories. And because the book became such a bestseller, I just made the documentary, which is on DVD. People can get it at autobiography of onanet.com. And it's under other books where they can get my other books as well. And also, you can rent it or download it on Vimeo as well. And
yeah.
then this is my latest MUFON book, the UFO Hotspot Compendium, all the places to visit before you die or are abducted.
That's fantastic, Craig. You hear all about this, but I've never known anyone to write books about it. So
Yeah,
you have to
exactly.
go, we have to circle back on that. What got you
Very
into
well.
the extraterrestrial? What got you into that?
When I was 26, I had a major spiritual awakening. I had never
Wow.
thought about what was out there in the universe. I never thought about extraterrestrials. I was not into science fiction. I had just finished working on Amazing Stories, which I say is when my own amazing story began. And I was just fascinated learning about all of these different races, meeting with contactees, going on MUFON investigations, hanging out with ufologists, learning stuff that would curl your hair. And there's so much stuff that is there if you dig deep enough.
It's me, Craig. Can you give us a little smidge of what you've discovered? Or perhaps
For
your story?
instance, for instance, for the book and for the documentary, in the book, I have a contactee who's in contact with a race of clarion beings. It's a world that's on the other side of the sun, so they say, and that is very similar to Earth with many ethnicities, except for they're not dualistic beings like we are. They're fully conscious beings, so they live in harmony. And so those beings have been coming here, especially in Italy, meeting with contactees and that kind of stuff. I actually have a picture of one of the beings. Her name is Nelfa.
Okay,
And
Melfa's beautiful. I love her eyes.
Nelfa is beautiful, and you can see their facial structures a little different, their eyes, they're petite, and she deals with astrobiology and chronoastronomy. So she deals with the astral worlds, the physical world in between dimensions.
So wait, Craig, we have to ask you. So my mind is just going all these questions.
All over the place, right?
Right? So I'm thinking, okay, so you said, I heard you say the other side of the sun, right?
Yeah,
So now, so you're saying a planet or a
the
conscious?
planet. No, a planet.
So a
A planet.
planet, and they come here, you said, I heard you say that, I listened intently. So you
Yeah.
said they come here consciously or?
They come here physically in craft, and lots of them have lived here for quite some time. There's a gentleman named Suel he describes him as a two-dimensional operator. He's here for the raising of consciousness so that we can move into the next dimension, like they're in the next dimension, so they're fully conscious. We're learning how to use our heart to rule our mind instead of our ego to rule our mind, right?
Okay, so my next question, if they're here, why don't
Right.
we know they're here? I'm just asking.
But look, there's many of them that are here,
Sure.
and that's not probably at this point going to happen because it might just freak out a little bit too many people. But with this day and age, with AI and with all kinds of stuff, people would probably not believe it anyway, right?
Oh, okay. So you're
Yeah.
thinking we're not really prepared for something like this. Is that what you mean?
I think there's lots of people that are prepared, and then there's some that aren't prepared, and then there's some that, of course, might not believe it, but that's okay. I research this stuff and then I share it. And it's fascinating because he had 6 or 7 pictures of the beings, and they're all in the documentary as well. And he describes who each one is and what they do and all of those different kinds of things. And he lives in a remote village in Italy. I had to send my European producers on a plane and then in a car for 5 hours to make it to this little village. They said they were scared to death because they were driving on mountain roads that it was just drop cliffs to death.
Oh my.
And so they went and they spent 2 days there, and I wrote out all the questions for him. He only speaks Italian. I don't speak Italian, so I translated everything so that he would know, and then we went from there. So that's one of my favorite sections in the story. We also have Chip Coffey, the famous paranormal investigator who is on Kindred Spirits, Paranormal State, Paranormal Kids. He's huge. He does the Mothman. He's actually gone to where the Mothman was.
I
Yeah.
heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had on my show, Craig, John Olson, who does
Yeah.
Stranger Utah.
Oh, really?
Yes, you got to look at his series too. It's quite fascinating.
Oh man, that's amazing. And then
Yeah.
we have a lot of amazing people, Paul Hynek, who is J. Allen Hynek's, that's his father, who has head of Project Blue Book,
Oh,
which
okay.
was the government study on UFOs and extraterrestrials. So he does the Men in Black because he knows about the Men in Black, and
This
he
is
talks about
fascinating.
how real they are. Yeah. We have a lot of amazing people. Daryl Anka, who channels an extraterrestrial being named Bashar 300 years in the future. Sixto Paz, who is Alpha Centaurian contactee. He's been on their craft, he claims, over 100 times. And the Alpha Centaurians are quite tall, blonde Nordics that come from the Alpha Centauri section. And so it goes on, and it's not a frightening documentary. It's quite uplifting, learning about who a lot of these things are. But of course there's also the darker elements and things
That
of that nature. So
that was my next question. So is it all
right.
roses? And because you said they're quite civil and quite, so that's what I
Yeah,
wondered.
but they are, but then there's others that are not, or there's others that are neutral, or they just come here more on scientific expeditions. Some of them come here and hybridize themselves with Earth people as well, because they come on expeditions that are going to be anywhere from 3 to 500, sometimes 3,000 years, to study us as a race, because we're very unique and different than most of the universe, because we're dualistic and we have so many ethnicities living on the planet. So we're really different, but we also have something that a lot of places don't, a lot of planets don't have, and that is DNA sequencing codes for ascension, because
Okay.
they're already ascended, but within us lies the codes to ascension, to move to the next dimension.
But that, because
Yeah,
one of my questions, Craig, if I might interrupt you, is
yeah,
if they can come here, why we can't go there? You're right. So we have to establish that in our
right.
intelligence.
So once we go to the fourth and fifth dimension, we can travel there if we know how, or if they take us.
Sure.
Or some people can go there mentally if they're quite evolved, right? As well. And but not physically, because they're still physical beings in these next dimensions. They're more geared towards the spirit, and the true meaning of trust, truth, loving your neighbor. I think their perfect saying is, when one helps, all help.
Okay. Do
Yeah.
you believe in life after death?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I wanted to ask you that, Craig.
Absolutely. I have proof of it,
You
actually.
have
I have
proof?
I have proof of it. Yeah. After my mother passed away in 1998, she was around me a lot. She was coming and talking to me. She physically was shaking me one night to wake up because she had to tell me a message, right? And then at another time, she said, I have to go away for a few days, but somebody's going to be here to watch over you. And so when I would wake up at night, I saw this astral figure of a woman. And although I didn't know who she was, but after a time, after my mom passed, I started doing genealogy of our family with her two sisters. And I found that woman was her grandmother.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then another time, somebody took a photograph of me, and floating above my head in 3D was my mother in a 3D form. And Sylvia Brown always talked about, when you go back to the other side, you go back to looking your best when you were young.
Oh,
And my
okay.
mother in this photo was back to like her 24-year-old self, of which, of course, I have pictures and that kind of stuff. So when I share it with people, I show them what she looked like at 24,
Sure.
and then show them the picture. And when you turn it, it's 3D. It's really quite amazing. And another time I was walking through my living room, she appeared right in front of me, and I walked right through her. And
Oh,
it was like my body right now just has the most, I get chills every time
I
I
bet.
talk about it. And then after my father died, some months after she brought him, I woke up from sleep and I felt somebody walking down the hall. And then I realized it was my mother bringing me my father. And when I saw him, I just started sobbing and sobbing. And I got up and I got to hug him and hold him and all of those things. And it was a real experience. It was not an astral one,
Wow.
although it was taking place part physical, part astral. I had the feeling of hugging my father one last time.
Oh, no, my
It was
heart's warmed.
amazing, just amazing. Yeah,
Oh, Craig, that why do you
yeah,
think, Craig, some people can? Because I've had people on my show that's truly are soothsayers, are mediums, psychics. I've had people like yourself that investigate the extraterrestrials,
extraterrestrials. Yeah.
another world, all of this. Why do you think some people can see and feel the love of their loved ones and others cannot? I've certainly lost people in my life, and you certainly feel like they might be there, but I've never seen passed away, or my daughter who passed away. And although I love them more than anything and have had just tremendous hurt and pain that they're gone, I certainly have never been able to. But I know other people have. In fact, I went to a lady, her name was, I can tell you who it is, Jamie Turndorf. She wrote a book on love after, basically life after death. And she said something about my husband that no one would ever know on the show, and I
Right.
was like taken back because no one
Yeah.
knew. And she said it, and I was just like beside myself. But I've never ever been able to. So I've always wondered what makes you, Craig, someone that can see your mom, but I'm unable to see mine. I'm just wondering.
My mom and I have a soul history that I think
Sure.
goes even beyond this planet,
Wow.
because we were true soulmates. She
Sure.
said she even knew when I was in her stomach that I would become a writer.
Oh, wow. So
And
you and her already had a bond of the
we
actor
already
side.
had a very strong bond. And I talked to her every day. I saw her at least once a week, and she'd been gone a long time now, like 27 years. I still think of her every day, and I still converse with her and that kind of stuff. And I work with celebrities and things like that, and they know, because I'm into this stuff, they share their stories with me. Some have been abducted, some have seen extraterrestrials,
Wow.
some have seen craft, others have had these paranormal experiences with loved ones and that kind of stuff. And I remember hearing Julia Roberts talking in an interview,
Yeah,
and
I
she
kind of
said,
remember.
yeah, she said, my father passed away. She goes, but I talk to my father every single day.
So I do, I tell my husband every night I love him and all of that, but
Yeah,
I've not seen him. For certain, absolutely not. But I certainly, so I like to think they can hear, but you don't know, right?
they do, because you thinking of them, that intention brings it. But you should put the intention out when you go to sleep. Say to your husband, I love you, but I really would like to see you. Would you visit me in my dreams?
Oh, I've had dreams about him, Craig.
Yeah, yeah.
I have, but I've never
Um,
asked him to come into my dream, that's for sure.
exactly.
Oh, that's incredible. Craig, you're a very kind and warm person. I can tell that already. We were going to talk about your casting, but we ended up
Right.
talking about your books. And is there a show in the works with all of this? I know you have a documentary you're talking about, but
A
is there a show?
documentary. I did make another short film from this book, which I own the book rights to, Stranger at the Pentagon. It's about
Oh,
a created being named Valiant Thor, who came from somewhere else and lived under the Eisenhower Nixon administration and came with a divine design to help Earth. So he lived there for 3 years. And Dr. Frank Stranges, who wrote the book, was friends with this being up until his death from 1959 until 2008. So right now I'm gearing up to start making the feature film to it. I made the short film, so people can watch the short film Stranger at the Pentagon on Amazon Prime
Okay.
or on Vimeo as well. On Vimeo, you can download it, but you
Okay.
can't on Amazon. I've tried to get them to let people download it, but they always say, oh, something's wrong with our system.
Oh,
But
okay.
people can rent it or download it on Vimeo or just rent it on Amazon Prime.
So I'm thinking, Craig, this is so exciting. This fascinates me, honestly.
Yeah.
And we're delving into sort of the deeper side of things. So when you're investigating, were you nervous or afraid the first time you encountered any of this, or is this just been part of you?
It's just been part of me. I went on one investigation and I actually caught an extraterrestrial on film. But I didn't know it at the time because it was interdimensional, and it actually was holding an interdimensional light and was wearing interdimensional goggles. Like we use night vision,
Yeah.
these advanced beings can use it for going in between dimensions. So
Were you
I was
afraid? Were you nervous at that moment?
I wasn't afraid when I saw the picture, although the Bing does not look like anything like us because its legs started where our knees are.
Oh,
That the like little short legs, long torso, long neck, round head. It was wearing goggles, so I really couldn't see the eyes. It was bald, but it did have two legs and two arms and that kind of thing. And my friend, who is the abductee, had been working with the government and CIA and all of that because of his stuff was like true and real. And he sent the picture to them and it came back with, oh wow, we haven't seen those beings since 1958.
oh my God.
Yeah, isn't that fascinating?
Yes. Oh my God. So I'm going to read every single one of your books. I'm
Oh
so
yeah.
excited. So,
The website, if you get them on the website, I'll sign them for you.
oh, okay.
Right? Autobiography of an anet.com.
So what I'm going to do, Craig, I'm going to make sure in our show notes, all of your information is here. So you're going to get
Oh,
that over to me. We're going to make sure I'll put it up on my internet social media so the other
oh,
people can
thank
get it as
you.
well. So we're going to put this, of course, up to YouTube and we'll have all of these channels
Yeah.
for everyone because Craig's going to have all of this for you guys. Craig, you're fantastic. I truly am grateful you're on. And because there's so much more to go and I would
Yeah.
love this, would you come back and do another episode with me?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We barely talked about casting, but
I know.
I do have a really wonderful fantasy movie coming out, a
Okay,
big
good.
budget movie called Starbright. It's being released in theaters August 22nd.
Start
It
bright,
stars
August
Starbright.
22nd. Got it?
Yeah, it's about the archangel Raphael who comes to visit Earth to help a young girl who's like in her 20s.
Sure.
But the film stars John Rhys Davis, who is in
Yeah,
all of the Lord of the Rings
yeah.
movies, Indiana Jones, and Diego Boneta, who is a very handsome Latin star. And he starred in one of the Terminator movies. And
Are you the casting director or what did you do?
I'm the casting director of the film,
Okay.
yes. And so it'll be coming out August 22nd. We have a date.
I'm
So
looking forward to that too. Do you have a trailer ready for it or no?
there's not a trailer ready for it. The Christmas movie that we just wrapped will probably release that trailer. It's called A Heart Full of Hope. And it's a beautiful movie. If anyone wants to see the Christmas movie I did last year, it's called The Christmas Chain. You could watch it on Tubi or Roku right now. And we made it for the Mendes Kidney Foundation because the storylines revolve around kidney disease and how you can help a family member get a kidney faster being on a list.
Oh, that's great.
It's really beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah,
Craig,
so it's great.
So I will get all your information. We'll put it on the show notes here, as I said. Can you make sure I get that information too about the Christmas movie? And we'll put that
Yes.
organization on here as well, because I really like to promote that as well and help you out.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be great. And also the new one, A Heart Full of Hope, is also made for the
Yeah,
Kidney Foundation because the one we did last year went through the roof. The first week on Tubi, 3 million people watched it.
that's
It's
fantastic.
crazy.
That's
That's good.
fantastic. You're
Yeah.
excellent. Everyone, I want you, when we're done with here with Craig, we're gonna have all his information here. Do reach out. What's the best place to reach you, Craig? Do you have a web page or do you on YouTube? Where's it?
My casting website is craigcampobasso.com, so people
Okay.
can email me through that. The book website is autobiography of an anet.com, and that's where you can get all the books and
Yeah.
DVDs that I've shown you. And you can also go to strangeratthepentagon.com if you want to learn more about Valiant Thor, this wonderful created being, and that kind of stuff.
Perfect, Craig. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. And we're definitely gonna have you back because you're just so amazing. We have so
Be
much
happy
to talk
to. I enjoyed talking to you.
100%. So to everyone, you definitely go over to Craig's sites. I'm going to have it all here for you. Thank you so much again, Craig, and we're going to have you back for everyone. And to everyone else, this is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. I hope you're all having a great day. Do subscribe to my channel. I appreciate that. Have a great day. I look forward to talking to you
Bye,
soon. Bye-bye
everybody.
now.